Hey hosers, backdoor here. Just doing a quick review on something that you don't see too often on YouTube. This here is the Smith and Wesson Anniversary Edition 1911 International version. These are the ones that came to Canada. I believe it says only 250 were imported into Canada. This here is number 85. This is basically an E-Series 1911, just with some fine engraving, just 1911 100th anniversary 2011, and it's got the international edition written there, and you can see it's got the fish scale serrations that Smith and Wesson is known for, external extractor. And we'll just do a quick safety check. This gun has only been fired one box of ammo, 50 rounds. It's been sitting in the safe for, I'd say, maybe 6-7 years now, and really just don't fire it very often because I have a couple of other 1911s that I find myself using more. So I just wanted to do a quick video showing the detail, all the little engravings that you'll find, just the level of quality, very tight, very tight. You'll see it's great lockup and fit and finish. I'll just show you my STI Duty one for comparison, and this is another well-made 1911, but you'll see fit and finish, they're on par with each other. This is in Canada, I believe, over $2,000, whereas these Smith and Wessons retail for about, I've seen them as low as 1800, sorry, as low as 800 up to about 17-18 for the performance center versions. This one's obviously not a performance center. And then just the contrast, you'll see here, this is a Taurus 1911 that was just refinished in a tungsten Cerakote. This gun I've had, this was the first 1911 I've ever had. This one is probably 10 years old. I'd say maybe 4,000 or 5,000 rounds through it, and you could see the gaps are a little bit larger in the slide to frame finish, but you know, still a great functioning gun, still pretty light, definitely not as tight as the other two. This does have, again, 4,000 or 5,000 rounds through it, but you'll see that it still has pretty good lockup and finish right there. You'll see very little play. So I'm just going to go through some of the details on this Smith and Wesson Anniversary Edition. You'll see it's got the fish scale serrations, but another nice little touch that you usually find on higher end guns is they've done the serrations on the top of the slide to minimize the glare. As well, they've beveled out a little bit in there so you can get a nice high grip. Beaver tail is nice. It's a single safety, so no ambi. The one difference is they use an external extractor, which I'm indifferent to. I've never had any problems with it. I believe the STI uses the internal, and again, I've never had problems with either. I find that both of them, they're both 45 ACP. They function perfectly fine. Trigger, as you'd expect from any 1911, very short, crisp. You'll see all that dirt come flying out, hasn't been fired. Reset. I'll do that better. Very short reset, and again, crisp break. You'll see it's practically brand new. I've only fired a box of ammo through it. 3-dot white sights. Nothing glowing, no glowing sights. So I want to draw your attention to the front strap checkering. This here, I'm not sure if it's 20 or 25 LPI, but you'll see it's very sharp and aggressive, nicely done. It really has some bite to it. Just contrasting that with the Taurus. The Taurus serrates underneath the trigger guard as well, and here, but it's very, I don't know if it's just from use, but it's very dull, very little very little grip and bite to it. It could be, I don't remember if it's always been like that or just the fact that it's 11 years old. But you'll see Smith and Wesson did a really excellent job here with the fine serrations, very sharp, very nice, however not uncomfortable. Really holds you in there nice, especially with such a big round like the 45 ACP. STI goes a little bit different. Theirs is more of a checkering, and you'll see it's really spaced out. They're not going for as an aggressive. I think it's to fit the Duty One theme here, because they have the same sort of checkering up here, and I don't really find it very functional. You know, I would prefer just straight serrations like they have up front. This, while it looks good, I really don't think it's very functional. I think it's more aesthetic than actually anything else. On this one, I'm running the Balder Pro by Olight. This is putting out 1350 lumens, I believe. It doesn't have a strobe, but it does have the integrated green laser. You'll see here, if I green laser. This is a 5 megawatt laser. Extremely bright in the dark. This thing lights up the room like a flashlight. So I really do like this light. I actually prefer it over the Streamlight TLR1 HL. This one that I'm running on my SIG, it does have a strobe feature. It's putting out 1000 lumens. Great light. The actuation of the on-off is much better. However, it doesn't have the laser. So I do prefer the Balder Pro. That being said, I believe they're about the same price, just going from the Olight's flash sales. As for these three 1911s, the only change here is the VZ operator grips. I believe these are the operator grips, and these here, these are VZ grips as well. I'm not sure what the pattern is, but they are VZs that came with the STI, as well as a set of G10 STI grips, just all black that say STI. And of course the E series uses these nicely engraved E series wood grips. They're, you know, not the greatest for purchase. They're kind of slick, but again, this is more of a collector gun. I really don't shoot it too often, and this just kind of sits in the safe as a nice little anniversary edition to complement the collection of 1911s. So I will mention that all these are bushing barrels. They all have the bushing. None of them are bull barrel models. As far as function goes, they've all been extremely reliable. I can't really speak to this one too much, as I've only fired a box through it. But these two, I've put thousands of rounds through this, and I've never had any issues, even running it dirty. This one I find has quite loose tolerances. This is again a Taurus PT 1911 in the stainless model, and this one, you'll see it comes apart really easy. Actually, I won't take it apart now, but this one comes apart really easy just due to the tolerances, whereas, you know, this one is a real chore to get apart. This has only got maybe 300-400 rounds through it, so not too many, but you'll notice that it's a lot tighter. This has you could see the captured guide rod. This has the little takedown mechanism where you can capture the spring and it contains itself. It aids in taking it apart, but it's a really heavy spring. It's almost like a dual spring system that I find, and really controls recoil a lot better. All three of them are running full-length guide rods, steel. All of them have what looks to be, you know, pretty, I don't know if they're extended, but they do come out nice with these mag release buttons. I find that all of them, if you could see, have a little bit of lift to them, so it's very easy to reach. Same with the STI. You'll notice that it's raised just a little bit more. Not sure if it's actually extended, but extremely easy to reach when you're firing. Don't even have to break your grip. So So with this being the anniversary edition, obviously you can't get them anymore unless you're buying them on the secondary market. They were released in 2011 for the 100-year anniversary. That being said, it's basically an E-Series 1911 without the rail and with some engraving. So that being said, if I was to choose between these three, I definitely think the STI would be the way to go. The STI just performs a little bit better. It reduces the recoil. I find the fit and finish on this is just a little bit better, you know, despite not having all the engravings. I find that even though these sights are black on black, the Target black on black sights, I find that it's still extremely accurate and easy to shoot. Again, lockup is super tight, even after a couple hundred rounds. You know, I know that's not a lot, but you know, it's just as tight as the day I bought it, and I just prefer shooting this one. The only downside is this came with two STI 7-round magazines, so it only holds 7 rounds, whereas this one came with 8. I have run some Kimtac 10-round mags through this one, and the Kimber magazine feeds 10 rounds reliably through both of these. However, this Taurus really doesn't like the 10-round Kimber magazine, so I have to stick to the Mechgar 8-round mags that came with this. This one I've had no problems, eats any ammo, be it ball or hollow point. And the Smith, I believe I use Remington UMC for the box, and again, no problems, but you know, that was just a 1-box sample, so it's hard to really speak to the reliability. I think the only upgrade I would do to this is maybe change out this front sight for a nice fiber optic or a tritium, some sort of tritium, just to really pick up that front sight and go. It's got the high knee rear sights. They're non-adjustable, but they are ledged if you did have to rack it off a table. So just speaking to the fit and finish, you'll see here, just looking at this skeletonized trigger, you'll see how tight it is in there. It only moves back and forth as it's supposed to, but there's no left or right play in it. Very stiff, very well fitted. Whereas when you look at the Smith and Wesson series, this is adjustable, but you'll see that it's got a little bit of wiggle. You could even hear it. And then the Taurus, again, the Taurus is just even worse. You know, it's got up and down to it, it's got left and right, and a lot of play. So just the different levels. So hosers, that's really it. I just wanted to show off this engraving on this International Edition 1911 by Smith and Wesson. Take a look. I'll try to roll in some still photos. Maybe the camera's not picking it up, but it is really well done. They did a really good job here. And again, the serrations, these are actually functional. I do like them on the M&P, and I like them here. They work, they look good, and they really do have some bite. So I'll just show you the quality and craftsmanship that they've done. This did come in a nice presentation box, a wooden box with blue velvet, perfectly fitted, glass box cover, and fortunately you can't get them anymore, but great pistol nonetheless. That's it, guys. Take care. Ask me any questions.